Hey there folks, welcome to Silent Film Saturday, episode number 53. This is Joey DeAngelis, your host, and today I shall be discussing Buster Keaton shorts from 1920 through 1923, and the most effective manner of doing that, in my opinion, is doing a top 5 list, because there are about, I want to say, 19 shorts in this box set. Little backup. Now, background, this box set was my first exposure, to Buster Keaton about 2.5, 3 years ago. There was a collection of short films from this box set that made me fall in love with, what people call the Great Stone Face. But that name is debatable amongst scholars and such. Let's take a look at this package first. This is one of Kino's finest editions. It's also available on DVD, 3-disc Blu-ray set. It's the back, and it's got 1, 2, 3 discs. I totally showed that backwards, but that's okay. It's also got a nice little booklet from Jeffrey Vance that's really nice. And there are a lot of really nice visual essays. Also digitally enhanced versions of these films, because Kino does not like to use the digital enhancer that much because they feel it compromises the integrity of the image. However, for people who like a better image, this package has it available. Okay, so without further ado, let's start our countdown. Number 5. Number 5, the Playhouse. This short, basically Keaton wants to work in this Playhouse, this theater, but the main sequence of note is the scene where you see basically everyone play, but everyone is Buster. So Buster is the orchestra, Buster is the conductor, Buster is in blackface, Buster is the cast, Buster is the stage manager, Buster is all the audience, even the female members of the audience. And there's a nice little moment where Keaton is looking at like a playbill, and it says stage director, production designer, it's all Buster Keaton. And I feel his face works for these moments, because he doesn't need to do a lot, but it helps define each of these characters. So for the musicians, he's trying really hard to, play the instruments sometimes with like the cello and the clarinet and other instruments. He's giving them a amount of effort. He's not overdoing it, and that's what I love about Keaton, was that he didn't need to alter his face severely to the point where it was just like, it was a little subtle, more subtle than that. There's also a scene where he basically plays a monkey, and he gets up in makeup and he's basically a monkey, and he does that really well too. So I think this really shows how effective his face is for a lot of things without having to change too much. Anyway, let's move on to number 4. Number 4 is The Haunted House. Now, this one is pretty cool because it takes place in a haunted house, and there's all these different gags that go wrong, the way the stairs are, inanimate objects, and all that stuff. But one of the better scenes is in the beginning, where he works as a bank teller, actually. And there's this glue, and it's really strong glue, and he basically touches everything. Everything that can go wrong with that glue goes wrong. That is really my favorite scene in that whole short. And it's just really nice. He's very physical in the film. There are some nice chases and gags and such. But there's also a little scene where, towards the end, he goes to heaven, then he falls down a chute, goes to hell. Yeah, that's the short. So that is number 4. Number 3. Alright, so for number 3, I have chosen Cops. I had to put this one on the list. For a lot of people, it's their favorite. For me, it's number 3. But that doesn't take away from the fact that it's a great short. It's one of Keaton's more legendary shorts in this package, and is known for a few reasons. One, it has an amazing chase sequence involving cops, of course, And it's just a lot of people, and Buster's, by himself. And just Buster against the world is always so funny. Because you're always rooting for him, but, sometimes things just never go his way. Another thing is that it's known for a darker tone, too, because at the end, the film has a title card that says "The End" with a tombstone on it, and Buster's pork pie hat hung on the side. This is an interesting ending, and in fact, so much so that I actually have a Yu-Gi-Oh card called Foolish Burial, where it has a tombstone on it, and I wrote in the black Sharpie "The End," and that's the copy of Foolish Burial I use whenever I play Yu-Gi-Oh! And yes, I admit to playing Yu-Gi-Oh! But also there's the bomb that's in the wagon, horse and wagon, in this short. He's the bomb that goes off, which reminded people of an incident that actually killed 40 people in real life, which is horrible. And if I'm not mistaken, the actor who played one of the actors in it was in Chaplin's The Circus, and he basically, I think he is like a furniture salesman in this movie or something, and he was I forgot the actor's name, but he was in The Circus as like one of the criminals, and Chaplin was interacting with him, and always hits him in the head when they're in the like automaton section. So that's an interesting tidbit. But Cops, because of its amazing chase sequence, the fact Buster's luck, Buster against the world, and its darker tone, it's really one of the best shorts in this package. So let's move on to number 2. Number 2, The Boat. I love this short. Everything that can go wrong with a boat goes wrong. There's the storms, there's taking the boat out, people falling overboard, everything happens. So, one of the few sequences of note, Keaton, his son falls overboard and he throws like the life preserver out, like the thing out to him, and he can't grab it. The rope's not tied to it, and he tries to get the kid, and the way he is with the kid is not like, I don't want to say abusive, but he's a bit rough with the child. Like, he's not. If it was Chaplin, it would be a bit more caring, whereas Keaton's just like, whatever, man. Another scene I'd like to mention, there's a lot of scenes I love to mention with this, where he's initially taking the boat out of his house, so he has to take apart a bunch of bricks to get the boat out, but then the boat is still so big that it collapses some bricks, and then as they leave, the house collapses. Yeah, Buster really can't win. And I apologize for the brief descriptions of these shorts, but if I spoil them too much, you lose it. And that's really the hardest part about this episode. I just want to put that in there. Alright, so that was number 2. What is my number 1 favorite Keaton short? And number 1 is 1 Week. Jeffrey Vans once stated in one of his visual essays that 1 Week is the Citizen Kane of short comedies. I have to agree with him. This film is hilarious. Keaton is with his newlywed wife, and they bought, they have a set where, how to build a house. But they're trying to build the house, rooms are shifting, doors are flipping. It's an awkward looking house, not like straight and stationary, no, it's got like bents and like weird, it juts out like this, it's concave, convex, all over the place. And then take a shower, it's weird. When he's building the house, it's like the framework, it like flips. And then the ending, what happens is the best payoff. One of the best payoffs I've ever seen in any comedy. Oh, but 1 Week is really funny, though. Because Keaton, has to deal with this whole situation. And he's just like, has this, his expression, his stone face. And he has to deal with everything. And it's much better than him just overreacting. He's just like... Yeah, and probably even more subtle than what I just did now. And that's what's so amazing about Keaton. I think what you could take away from these shorts is that Keaton was not only just a talented, writer-director, but he was also very gifted as an actor. His face, his stone face, people like to call it, but To me, he's probably the best actor of the silent era. I know I say Chaney's my favorite, but I sincerely think Keaton is the best because he doesn't need to mug for the camera. He doesn't need to overact. With his, with the smaller gestures and scenarios he puts himself in, he is the most interesting thing on screen. And I highly recommend anybody who's starting to get into silent film or silent comedy or silent shorts or Keaton in general, check out this set from Kino. You won't regret it. Next week, I shall be discussing the monumental D.W. Griffith epic, Intolerance, as the Season 3 finale of Silent Film Saturday. See you next week.